and gentlemen, please welcome Vice President, BlackBerry Application Platform Tools, Research in Motion, Chris Smith.
How's everybody doing? All right, are we good? I'm really happy to be here in Amsterdam, and what I'm going to be doing is hosting over the next 45 minutes the technical part of the keynote. I'm going to have a ton of partners up here on stage with me, showing off some of the amazing technology, the things that we're doing in the future with BlackBerry 10, but also having some partners come up and show off their applications on BlackBerry 7 and on Playbook. So as you heard from Torsten, we are in the midst of the most ambitious global launch of new products we have ever undertaken. We have launched 7 new devices with over 420 carriers in 134 countries in the last 6 months. That's huge scope. And we have more than 75 million subscribers around the world. And what this represents, as you heard from Alec, you heard from Torsten, is a huge opportunity for you as developers. And it's always been our mission, it's been our passion to make sure that we're providing deep hooks into the platform, both on the device and in the cloud, to make it that much easier for you to reach your audience and to drive usage and adoption of your apps. So for you as developers, what that means is you have unique opportunities to draw users into your apps. We've opened up hooks into the core menu system, into the inbox, into the home screen, into the media player, into the phone, into the maps. And we've also provided deep integration on the cloud side for things like push, location services, and identity, and payment, and advertising. And of course, we opened up BlackBerry Messenger and the BBM social platform. So with these super app APIs, we are going further than any other mobile platform to get your apps adopted and used. Now, what I'd like to do is to invite to the stage a partner who has really pushed the boundaries of what a deeply integrated mobile application can be. Please welcome Martin and Nicola from Wikitude. Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Good to see you.
Hey, Chris.
Hi. So, tell us about Wikitude.
Wikitude is all about augmented reality. So what do? We take the camera of the BlackBerry and draw digital content into the cam view. So this could be like location-based markers. It's all about exploring your vicinity, finding places around you, finding people around you. So that's something we're going to show you in a bit. And all that in the camera view. So a bit like bringing the future to the BlackBerry today.
It's almost like, it's absolutely a vision of the future. I don't know if you've seen Minority Report, but it's that kind of science fiction. But it's here, in your hand, in your BlackBerry.
Exactly. So we leverage all the senses of the BlackBerry. We leverage the content we have and put all that together and present it into the camera, into augmented reality.
Okay, let's give them a look. This is pretty cool. You're going to love it.
Sure. So what you see here, how I calibrate the compass. And after I have done that, so in that particular case, I have now connected Wikitude to the BlackBerry Messenger. So what you see here on the camera view, so all the people that want to be found on BBM. So what we have done, making use of all the BBM APIs, connected them to the BlackBerry Messenger, and now allowing people to contact themselves using the BBM in augmented reality.
Right, so you have people out there in the audience who have an open profile, and you can actually see them.
Yeah, that's correct. So I either see the people that are my BBM contacts, or I see people that currently have the profile open and want to be found. So I see BlackBerry. I think that's Doreen from Germany.
You've seen some viral adoption of this and some interesting use cases.
Yeah, exactly. So initially we just thought of making use of that for meeting where my friends are, locating where my friends are. In the meantime, this has developed to a very active community application. So many people use that, like here, for business contacts or in a more private environment. It's all about now flirting and dating. So like more than 35% of all Wikitude users do connect to BBM and have their status set to public. And then it's all about, hey, I want to be found and I want to
Comes in handy when you're out at a club.
Exactly, right.
Okay. So what else do you have here you can show us?
Okay, let's see what else we have got. Let's see. Perfect. You have all seen the great augmented reality view. But in addition to that, we also have a list view where you can scroll through the content in this case, the BBM contacts. And as I don't know BlackBerry, I can add him or her to my contact list and hope they're going to accept. If you're more the map type, you can also scroll through your surrounding via the map. So here again, BlackBerry, and who's that? Adam Santona also wants to be found. And of course, we have a lot of different content in addition to the BBM contacts. Martin, do you want to say something about that?
I mean, I can tell you, I find it immensely useful traveling around if you're in a new city and you want to know where to go to check things out, whether it's restaurants or whether it's attractions. I mean, it's incredibly helpful as a travel aid.
Yeah, so that's the second main use case for Wikitude. So on one hand, you can find people. On the other hand, you can find places, as you've mentioned, Chris. But it's all about it's a good travel companion. You're standing at the site, pointing at it, and Wikitude tells you, hey, this is the Van Gogh Museum here in Amsterdam. So to support this use case, we have about 3,000 partners who do deliver content, who do deliver data, and they range from Wikipedia over Twitter, Yelp, Quipe, and like 2,990 something other partners, guaranteeing a global coverage in 32 languages.
It's amazing. And what have your users been saying about the new BBM integration and the whole experience in general?
So the rewarding part for us in the team is not only the usage we see, so specifically this BBM integration creates enormous engagement and traction. So a typical Wikitude user connected to BBM uses Wikitude like 5 times a week, so being super active.
Wow.
At the same time, we get great user response, great user feedback. We have put a few quotes up there, ranging from the guy who has found 3 girls the first time he connected Wikitude to BBM, or just simply somebody who is enthusiastic about exploring vicinity and navigating in a foreign city.
It's great. I mean, amazing application. Can't wait to see where you guys go next. Thank you so much for sharing.
Good to be here.
All right, take care.
Thanks, good to be here.
Okay. So one of the killer platform features that Wikitude is taking full advantage of here is integration in the BBM social platform. Now, the BBM social platform gives developers access to BBM in ways that open up a world of opportunities. And partners who are taking advantage are seeing staggering results. We have seen 25 million downloads already for the first 300 BBM-enabled apps. That's a huge number. And partners have seen huge spikes in both app usage and revenue as a result of their integrations. The popular social app Foursquare, for example, saw 200,000 downloads in the first day that they launched with BBM integration. And with the BBM social platform, we've opened up both the device side as well as the server side. On the device side, we're doing things like allowing you to invite friends in your app to join and participate in the app experience. Embed chat and customize profiles, again, driving that viral use and adoption. It's basically putting you one click away from your users' closest contacts and closest friends. We've also opened up the BBM infrastructure. So to drive community adoption with things like sharing and streaming of real-time data all flowing through our BBM infrastructure. So what I'd like to do now is welcome Gadi from Nobex to talk about how Nobex Radio is pushing the limits of social listening with integration with the BlackBerry Messenger platform. Hey, Gadi, how you doing?
Hi, Chris. Thanks.
Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So, I mean, I'm a big fan of Nobex. I'm a user. Tell us about some of the amazing things you're doing.
Well, Nobex Radio was launched 2 years ago, and it's a radio application, needless to say, for the BlackBerry devices. It allows you to select any one of 16,000 radio stations in over 100 countries, and not only listen to the station, but also to see the playlist of the songs that the station played. On a given song, you can purchase the song within integration with another partner, 7 Digital, YouTube clip, artist information, so much more interactive experience than just sitting back and listening to the radio.
Yeah, it's really immersive. I mean, I find myself lately actually sitting on the couch with my playbook hooked up through HDMI to my TV, and you've got the immersive experience there and the great music
exactly.
coming through in HD.
So, with playbook, hopefully that will come up. So with the playbook, not the devices.
Okay.
With the playbook. With the screen size, basically we were able to put everything on the same screen. So you have the playing, the current station that you can start playing. The playlist is here. The same actions. So if I click here, for instance, I'll see the artist information for that song coming from Last.fm. There's the preset at the bottom of the screen that you can switch between stations. So just much nicer form factor because of the screen.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love it. How many radio stations did you say?
We have 16,000 radio stations, and we focus on the actual radio stations, not internet stream, the terrestrial radio stations, the top
and
stations.
This is music, talk, it's sports.
Sports.
It's
different genres. You can pick different stations. Go back to the list. Pick a station by location, by genre, etc. So
Awesome.
now we had that out for 2 years, and what I want to show is actually what we did last year since you launched the BBM Social Platform. So the first integration we did with BBM Social Platform is actually what happens in the background. When I play something, anyone on my network, BBM network, sees my actions posted that's Trillion. So if Ford looks at Trillion's profile, he sees the recent activity within Nobix Radio and that she listens just now to KBPA. He can launch Nobix Radio. If he doesn't have Nobix Radio, it will open Upworld and launch Nobix Radio. And then basically that ties Nobix Radio to the virality of BBM.
Yes, exactly. So what kind of results have you seen after you launched with these
We launched that just before DevCon Americas. We saw, typically from a version to version, we get 5 to 10% increase of the number of downloads. We saw 52% increase.
52%. It's
and
huge.
most of them came, we have an invite to download. Most of the downloads came from people seeing the actions and clicking the actions of their friends. It's the best recommendation on an app that someone can get.
Amazing.
So that's what we did until DevCon. We showed at the DevCon Americas, that was September, and we came out of DevCon with 2 things that we thought we should leverage BBM Social Platform, and that's what we did in the last few months, and released that a few weeks ago. And that's what we call social listening. So if, let me exit this. So he's not in the app now, Arthur.
Yeah.
And that's, so this is Ford, this is Arthur, and Trillion is playing KBPA, okay? So while she plays, she actually remembers that Ford really likes this song. So she invites him to listen with her at the same time to the station. So Ford gets an invitation in BBM that he sees that Trillion invited him to listen with him. He accepts the invitation, it opens, and the screen opens a chat session between them.
Very cool.
Okay? Now,
chat back and forth.
anyone can add a friend to the chat, so he knows, and Ford doesn't leave home without Arthur and his towel, so he invites me and invites Arthur to listen to the same session, so sends an invitation. Arthur here will get the invite. He'll accept the invite. He'll join the session. I got the invite on my device.
Anybody else want to listen to this station out there? It's very cool. Come on, this is great stuff.
So now we can all chat, and everyone sees who's on that chat. So it made BBM part of the actual experience.
Right. So I might have liked Human League, but Cars maybe not so much. So do I have to? Am I stuck?
We can. Okay, so that's actually a good segue to. You remember there was a session at DevCon on gamifying applications.
Yes, with Jane McGonigal.
Exactly. So that's the second part that we wanted, is to find some game aspect of that. So let's say that Ford doesn't like this type of music, or you don't. So he actually switches to hip hop. So let me show you. It's completely different songs. Hip hop songs. So he switches to hip hop, but then he can also switch everyone else to the same station. So see what happens on other devices. So
that he switched.
He switched everything.
Very
and
cool.
you
This is
start
cool stuff.
fights.
kind of like, I don't know about you guys, it reminds me of when you're driving on those long family car rides and everyone's fighting over the radio.
Yeah,
I mean,
the benefit there is that the kids are in the back seat and they can't reach to the
Right,
radio.
right,
but that,
right.
you know, it's, and it's early to say, we just launched that a few weeks ago. It seems like we're getting another 50% boost in the number of downloads
Amazing.
because of that reality within
this is
application.
amazing stuff. Well, thank you for sharing, Gadi.
Thank you very much.
Wish you success. This is great. Thank you. So, this is amazing stuff. So thanks to Wikitude and now Nobex, you've just seen two great examples of super app experiences on BlackBerry 7. I'd now like to turn our attention to the future, to BlackBerry 10, and to our vision for mobile computing. BlackBerry 10 brings together the best of BlackBerry with deep integration on the device and in the cloud with things like super apps, the BBM social platform. And we married that with an industry-proven powerhouse OS in QNX. The same QNX OS that powers 25 million vehicles across more than 250 car models and runs in critical environments like internet routers, medical devices, and nuclear plants. This is the same core foundation that we are building our next generation on. So we're building from the ground up, as Torsten said, to intercept the next generation of mobile experiences. Experiences that take super apps to the next level, where content and communications flow not just between apps on the same device, but across a network of devices, from smartphones to tablets to your home to cars. This is the vision that we're building for with BlackBerry 10. So we're putting all the power of BlackBerry 10 in the hands of you, our developers. You will be able to deliver deeply integrated experiences built on the unparalleled performance of the BlackBerry 10 OS and taking full advantage of our next generation user interface engine, Cascades, which we acquired as part of our move with the Astonishing Tribe, and we'll talk about that soon. In addition to Cascades and native C++, developers will have choice and flexibility to build on our HTML5 application platform that provides full compatibility with BlackBerry 5, 6, 7, as well as with Playbooks. So you do have a future-proof option when you're building for BlackBerry 10 that carries over and can target the entire ecosystem of BlackBerry users. We'll also continue to support Adobe Air and the Android runtime, which we're making available now with Playbook 2.0 when you go forward with BlackBerry 10. So BlackBerry 10, we are as committed as ever to open standards and meeting developers on their turf, on their terms, and driving your content into our ecosystem. And we are really walking the walk here when it comes to supporting cross-platform development and open standards. At DevCon Americas, we announced an open source initiative where we basically opened up a repository on GitHub, and we contributed ourselves a couple of dozen of open source libraries for you as developers to be able to use. We've also engaged and encouraged the community to participate. So we have a huge collection of open source capabilities that are being brought to the platform that you as developers will be able to leverage. In fact, our entire web platform, so the WebWorks framework, which takes HTML5 outside the browser in a secure environment, and our Ripple web IDE, is all being done as open source development out there in the open. So we are really committed to driving this open community commitment. In terms of the BlackBerry 10 native SDK, it's not surprising then that we would build on a solid foundation of open standards. And one of the key libraries that we're building on is Qt. So as you heard from Lars earlier, Qt gives us a mature, stable, robust app framework that provides C++ plumbing for native apps. All the basics that you need, from objects to attributes to events to IPC. And then we drop a little magic on tops. We have a new UI framework called Cascades, which we acquired in our purchase of the Astonishing Tribe. And this gives you some mind-blowing signature effects, so 3D and physics and animation, all baked into the core controls and optimized for mobile computing. So what I'd like to do now is welcome Jeff Lejeune to the stage to introduce you to the Cascades UI framework. Jeff?
Thank you, Chris.
How's it going?
Very good.
So Jeff is a Canadian boy, but he's been living and breathing in Malmö, Sweden lately.
Right. Yeah, I've been there for about 9 months, and if I may, it's been an astonishing experience working with the folks
Excellent,
from TAT.
excellent, I got that. So tell us about the philosophy behind how the Astonishing Tribe works, because it's really kind of unique.
Definitely. TAT's motto has been design loves technology, right? And it's this whole idea of taking really great user designs and marrying that with the technology to realize them. And it's something that that this group lives and breathes every day, the constant interaction between the designers and the developers to get things exactly the way you want.
And I mean, there's a tremendous pedigree behind this company. I mean, they've been putting some pretty mind-blowing ideas out there on the internet for years.
Yeah.
So it's really been just a pleasure getting to know them and really understanding how they work behind the scenes.
Exactly. And so yeah, like you said, we've been taking this design loves technology and trying to take that pedigree and put it into BlackBerry 10. We're calling this prepackaged elegance.
Excellent. So let's take a look. This is the new Cascades UI framework.
Yeah, so the first thing I want to show you here, and this is a great example of Design Loves technology, because what I asked the team to develop here was an application that shows off each of the core controls that we're going to have available in Cascades. And rather than simply do a standard boring application that shows each of the controls, a designer developer sat together working on this and came up with this notion of a cookbook. Right, so you have all your recipes to build your applications. And the source code for this particular application will be included with the Cascades tooling. So anybody building applications can see the source code behind all of these core controls.
Okay, so let's take a look at a couple of
Yeah,
these.
there's a couple I want to kind of show off here today and show some of what we've been talking about. So this is an example. The background here behind the text is an image, and there's kind of a leather texture to it.
Very nice.
And as we change the size of the text, you can see the animation of the image as it grows and shrinks.
Right.
And in addition, sorry.
So as a developer, I mean, what do you need to do to take advantage of some of these rich effects, the flow, the animation, transformation?
It's all completely built in. You basically say, this is my starting point. I need it to be this big when it has these lines, this big when it has these lines, and the animations, everything between is all handled by the framework.
Very cool.
And including, I don't know if people notice, but the radio buttons here, as I transition between them, right? You can see the blue shading kind of slides between the buttons, and the white dot in the center pops out.
Cool.
Again, all you do is put 2 radio buttons in a group, and the rest you get for free.
Very cool. Now, what about some other?
Yeah, so a couple other things I can show off here. So here's again some examples of animations, right? So if I change from a super size to a small size scrambled eggs, right? You can see both the size of the eggs animates as it changes, and the third one when it comes in, it kind of wobbles.
Again, this is you're providing the assets, and the framework is doing the work. Now, what if you want to change the the dynamics, like the physics behind it?
Definitely, yeah. So this is an example here. This screen kind of shows off some of the stock physics curves that we have built in. So you don't really have to understand anything about the physics of acceleration and deceleration in your animations. You simply pick one of the ones that you want, and the framework does the rest for you.
Can I make it bounce around?
You can totally make it bounce around.
All right.
There you go. Yeah.
So this is amazing. Again, like looking at other platforms, I mean, typically this kind of work, you would need a background in graphics and physics to be able to achieve some of these effects. They're all baked right into the framework.
Baked right in.
So let's take a look at some of these in an actual app.
Yeah, so this is a pretty straightforward example of a memo application. This one the guys built for me to help me with my Swedish pronunciations.
Very nice.
and some
Scrolling
of
list.
my Swedish meatball recipe. Exactly.
So again, some animation coming in.
Exactly. So the text-based list, you can see the smooth scrolling. As I click on items, you see the text animates in and out. I can create a new one. You see the kind of you can see the page kind of flow in when I created a new one here.
Yep.
If I want to delete one, we have this kind of shredding effect. And again, these are all the examples of effects that are just
3D
built
effects
right in.
that are literally dropped in and prepackaged as part of the core framework.
Exactly. One more here. I know this is your favorite
I love
one.
this one.
If I use my 2-finger pinch here on the list, what I can do is filter. And again, you talk about these 3D effects on a 2D.
Yeah.
2D
Now,
element.
what I love about this is, I mean, here you have a pretty standard app, right? A basic notes app. You're using 3D in a way that's not just frivolous. It is really adding function to it. I mean, this is really, for me at least, showing how you can take this going forward with something like Cascades.
Exactly. Yeah. In this case, we're filtering based on whether you have them starred or not. So if you simply want to see your favorites, you just can collapse the list.
So let's take a look at something a little more out there in terms of UI concept.
So this is an example of a photo viewing application. You can see it's kind of the idea here is sort of a laid back concept. The photos sort of float down like leaves and then float down the river.
You can control the scroll.
Yeah, and you can see it shifts between some different camera angles. If I touch on ones, I can see some of the text that's associated with it. Again, right behind the scenes, this is a standard Cascades list. It's just the designer just re-imaged how they want the UI on top of that.
So things like, I mean, you have shaders showing the curves on the edges of the photos.
Exactly.
You have the drop shadows coming down. All of this is baked in as pre-canned kind of effects.
Yep.
I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, and you can see it's more than just still images. There's videos in here as well.
Very cool. All right, now how about something that kind of takes a real world problem and it kind of applies the cascades treatment?
Yeah, so this is a great example here. So this, again, behind the scenes, it's a standard list. There's over 300,000 inbox messages here that we're processing live as we play with this. And this is just a different graphical way of viewing the same data. So we've got colors here based on people. I can filter on the kinds of messages.
Definitely use this on my inbox.
Exactly. If I screw, again with the two-finger pinch, I can zoom in and see.
I mean, the performance is
particular
incredible, right? It's just completely fluid.
And we've got the little hot topic text here that kind of bounces
like a little
in a
tag
little
cloud.
bit. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, maybe the future of how we manage communications, and made possible again by the power of the underlying OS and the Cascades UI framework.
Exactly.
So this is amazing stuff, Jeff. Thank you very much for sharing with us.
Thank you.
All right. So now you've had a chance to see some of the incredible experiences you can build with Cascades. What I'd like to do now is welcome Stefan and Johan to the stage, a designer and a developer, to talk about how we're translating some of that TAT philosophy into our next generation of tools. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Good to see you. You're the
Thank you.
designer, developer?
Yep.
Okay. So tell us what we're doing with it on the tooling side.
Well, we're using Momentix, which is a derivative from Eclipse.
Yep.
So you get all the stuff that you have in Eclipse and a lot of plugins to connect to your device and so forth.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Same idea, of course, you're using to build native today on Playbook 2.0.
What we're showing here is
Can we get the laptop up? There it is.
Yeah. What we have here is the plugin to show the Cascades version of the QML. So we have a button and a text. And if we look at the source code, we do have.
So there's the C++. So you mentioned, this is built right on top of the Qt framework. So we're using QML and we're coding in C++.
Yeah, you can do everything in both QML and C++.
And you also have ability to use JavaScript. Is that right?
Yep. If you look down here, when we run it on a playbook, and we click on the button, it checks the text and changes it. So cool. It's pretty. Yeah, it's very cool actually.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And how are we now enabling this whole interaction, the designer and developer working together on an application?
That's it. I've prepared a more graphic enhanced demo.
Yeah, I imagine for like the hello button, probably it doesn't require a lot of interaction. Although I know Stefan, so he's pretty particular.
So for this demo, we made a little application for an imaginary millionaire.
Okay.
And he has a loft apartment where he lives with his girlfriend. And
so let's take a look. Oh, this is the apartment.
Yeah, this is the apartment.
Very cool.
So
we're on the.
I'll show it here first. So what we have here is the preview of the apartment. It's graphically heavy, and the source code for the QML is pretty easy. I've put the logic for the lamps and stuff outside. So if something happens, we could change the graphics.
So he's using the playbook to control the lighting in his apartment, basically.
In his apartment, he has could I have the playbook, please? Thank you. So this is a representation of his apartment.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, and of course, every millionaire needs a shark tank. Right?
No, it's a dolphin. It's a dolphin.
Oh.
It's his girlfriend's dolphin.
His girlfriend's dolphin, okay.
Yeah. His name is Bubbles.
Okay.
And so when he controls his flat, he can turn on and off lights, of course.
Yeah.
And
very nice.
And change the lighting for Bubbles.
Okay, he's got some mood lighting for the dolphin. Very nice. Okay.
Yeah. This graphic it needs some work, so you work together with the designer, and so working with Stefan here, and he has some tools that talks to my tools that he wants to talk about.
Yeah. Sure. So you're working an entirely different tool set, obviously, when you're working as a designer.
Yeah, I wouldn't go near Eclipse. Sorry.
Spoken like a true designer. Unless you're looking over the shoulder of a developer.
Yeah,
And
do that.
yeah, of course.
It does that.
So for Photoshop, this is the Photoshop file where I have my layers, and I can turn on and off stuff here. And what happened was his girlfriend and they couldn't get along, so she split, and she took the dolphin. And so his mom moves in and to comfort him, and redecorates also, because that's what moms do.
So this means work for you as a graphic designer, I guess.
Yeah, millions and millions of reconstruction, but very swift when it comes to changing the app, actually. So I've drawn some new graphics, and I've kept the layer names the same. And we have this plugin in Photoshop that does all the export, cut, and save files. It does all that automatically, which is very nice. Usually, I have to do it by hand, and it's boring, and I often get stuff wrong.
What he means is that when he sends it to me, I don't pay attention, and it's not as he imagined it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of back and forth. So really, this is like more as like a coping tool for you guys.
Yeah.
Help you get along better.
Yeah, so it saves all my layers as images, and it also saves where in the picture did I get this image. And so he gets the complete layout, so he gets a fair chance of not screwing up my stuff, my glorious design. And now, so that's a package, and I send it to Johan.
Yep.
And
Okay.
yeah, so over to you again.
Thank you. So I'll go back to Momentix, and I'll just remove the UI part of the code.
So this is just the QML that represents the UI?
Yep.
Yeah.
And delete that, and I take the mamusin file that Staffan sent me. I drop it in, choose where I want my images, I want the new code, I press OK, I wait, and I open the file again, and it's the new layout.
Constructed. Wow, okay. And so now you have, it's great.
Yeah.
So this is amazing, and I guess the layers, because they're named the same, you're able to use that meta data in the application itself, and you don't have to change the code behind it. The logic works. The lights are still going to turn on and off.
Yeah, it's
Amazing.
It's pretty cost effective.
And we've saved a friendship between
Yeah.
designer and developer in the process. Okay, well, thanks, guys. It was
Thank
great
you.
having you
Thank
here.
you for being.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care. So as you heard from Torsten, all this great work we're doing with Cascades is in the hands of partners today. We have a closed beta running, and we're getting some great feedback. As that matures, we'll be ready to take it out live and go open beta with it. So what I'd like to do next is to turn to the other primary pillar in our BlackBerry 10 platform strategy, and that's HTML5. So when you think about what it takes to really deliver on an amazing web platform, there are two things that kind of immediately spring to mind that certainly any web developer will tell you. One of them is standard support, and the other is performance. And we are absolutely committed to leading the industry in this area. Proof point to that, when we launch Playbook 2.0, we will have the most comprehensive support for HTML5 of any mobile browser. Okay, this is the Playbook running it right here. Yeah. And on top of this, our WebKit engine, built on the power of QNX, will deliver unparalleled performance on BlackBerry 10. So our web foundations are solid. And we are continuing to work with our partners in the community to drive the standards forward. We know that targeting content across platforms is one of the key forces behind the rise of HTML5. And everything we are doing in this area supports cross-platform standards. Okay? But we're not afraid to innovate and lead and drive those standards forward. And this is exactly what we have been doing with our WebWorks web application framework. So WebWorks takes standard HTML5, JavaScript, CSS, and provides a secure environment with full access to native device capabilities outside the browser. So with WebWorks, you have full super app integration. So you can use you know, the BBM social platform that we've been talking about. You can support push. You can support deep hooks into the native environment because you have a secure container outside the browser, but you're still building entirely in standard HTML5, CSS, and JavaScript. And WebWorks is future-proof. Means it's fully supported and compatible between BlackBerry 5, 6, 7, Playbook, and BlackBerry 10. So you can target the entire user community of BlackBerry users with your WebWorks apps. So what I'd like to do now is welcome to the stage Nick from MIPIN to talk about how they are building on WebWorks. Hey, Nick, how you doing?
Hey, Chris, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
So tell us about MIPIN.
Yeah, so MIPIN, we're the world's leading application development and publishing company.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, apparently. We now have over 50,000 apps that have been developed on our platforms and live in app stores globally.
Amazing.
Which is great. Yeah, it's really cool. We're super excited about that. And over the last probably 6 to 12 months or so, we've been doing an increasing amount of work with BlackBerry.
Okay.
So we still have a lot of gaps to close to get anywhere near that 50,000 on BlackBerry. But we've been focusing a lot on the WebWorks platform.
And I mean, you're having some success. One of the apps built on MIPIN won the
Yeah, I think
WebWorks
it's one of the apps highlighted on the screen here. The Daily Express
Yes.
app was
Congratulations.
ours, so that was great news. We didn't expect that at all, and it was fantastic to receive the best WebWorks app for EMEA. So thank you to BlackBerry for that.
Very cool. And so tell us how the whole process works in terms of
Yeah.
engaging with your partners and
Well,
delivering apps.
it's kind of interesting. We'd had a series of apps, Java apps, on App World for quite a long time. And last year, we took the step of deciding to take a portfolio of those and upgrade them to WebWorks apps. So we spoke to our partners and talked about how we'd best do it. And we decided that WebWorks was the way to go. We built them all, we launched them. Initially, we did a portfolio of about 20 for the UK, and we've now expanded that out to about 40 to 50. We've got a few in the pipeline at the moment across UK, LATAM, and we're looking at Asia Pac as well at the moment with various RIM partners.
Very cool.
And the performance we saw from them, particularly in terms of downloads, was quite staggering. You can see on the chart here, we saw over a 15,000% increase in download performance between the old Java app and the new WebWorks app. Partly driven because it was a fresh app launch and it was being pushed out, but also because of the viral features. So we did the BBM integration and it helped just push the message out about that
Absolutely.
app being
Well,
there.
let's take a look. I know you've got many of these working on both Playbook and the device.
They're
using
all
the
on
same
Playbook,
code
OS
base.
5, OS 6, and OS 7. We actually build them, we don't necessarily build them as an individual app that works across all devices. We optimize them obviously for a Playbook app versus an OS 7 app versus a 5.6 app. And obviously we'll be doing.
And this is
OS
we
10.
hear this all the time from developers. It's not about having one actual binary, but it's about using assets and skills in the process.
Exactly.
Across platforms.
Exactly. So let's take a look at the Playbook app. So here we have Daily Express
Very nice.
on Playbook. On this view, there's a number of views and a number of different layout options that we've built into the app. So this app allows you kind of to sort of scroll back and forth and swipe through various stories. I can click on a story, read a little bit more information about it.
Slick.
I can share with Facebook and Twitter. That's all built into the app. Swipe left and right to get to the next story.
That's great.
And again, all this is done. This is all done in HTML5 and packaged with WebWorks.
So this probably means that a lot of these partners already have this content more or less ready to be consumed.
Yeah, exactly. We find we have to do virtually zero work on the content side. So all of the content partners that we work with have to do no work at all on their side to be able to optimize their content for these applications.
Very cool.
Here's another different layout option with a whole load of different graphics. I spotted this one earlier for all you developers out there. Apparently, it's all about the socks. So you've got to go and get some pretty cool, funky socks because that's what seems to matter if you want to make it big.
All right.
So that's one layout option. An alternative one, OK Magazine, famous for celebrity news and gossip.
Yeah, this is my favorite.
Your favorite app, I believe we've discussed. So this is a different layout altogether. So this has kind of a carousel down the side, and then you can read the story. Once you find a story that you like, click on it, the story loads in the screen. And interestingly, I mean, this is, again, it's all built in HTML5. But you've got kind of dual touch, dual scrolling on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, it's extremely fluid.
Loads of nice, slick interaction in here.
Certainly it does have a native look and a native feel in terms of the way it performs.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, some of the guys within the WebWorks team and WebKit teams were surprised when they first looked at these applications that they were actually done in WebWorks. So
amazing. That's
kind
what
of
we
nice.
like to hear.
It's kind of cool.
So let's see. Now, I know you've taken some of these and you have them on the smartphone, but taking advantage of some of the super app features. So
Exactly. Let's have a look. So on the smartphone over here, if you can see this okay. Is that what I'm doing?
Yep,
Yeah,
there we go.
okay, there we go. So straight away, here's 3 apps on here, OK, Daily Express, and Auto Express. And straight away, you can see that a couple of them have had new content pushed into them because there's the classic red star overlay on the icon. And equally, if you go into the messages, there's new content, so
Right,
18
so these
new
are
articles.
integrated directly into the inbox.
Yeah, so we've built custom extensions to integrate over the top of the WebWorks framework to integrate notifications and push directly into the inbox.
Very
So
cool.
20 new articles for Auto Express and 18 new articles for Daily Express.
Very cool.
And just to show you the kind of overview of the framework, you can see here that it's a very similar look and feel to the app. So you can scroll the list of stories, click into a story, get the full page.
Yeah,
And
very
again,
nice.
you can either use left and right clicks or swipe, because the app supports swipe as well.
Very cool.
These also have full BBM integration, so I could share this story via BBM, or via Facebook, or via Twitter. So I can either share just the story, or I could actually share the whole app and send the whole app out to
Right.
anyone in
Again,
my
taking
BBM
advantage of
buddy list.
that viral spread, sharing it with
Exactly.
your friends.
Exactly.
So I know one thing that Nippon's doing that's exciting is kind of taking WebWorks and turning it into a platform on the server side. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so some really interesting innovation that we're doing at the moment is we've basically built a cloud-based version of WebWorks, and we're looking at that to drive our next generation of innovation. We're moving from a position where it takes months to develop apps to one where it takes minutes, and we're really excited about the opportunities to use that and convert everything that we're doing today on OS 5, OS 6, OS 7, and Playbook OS, and be able to rebuild all of those as BlackBerry 10 apps pretty much in an instant.
Amazing.
So it's very exciting.
Yeah, we are really excited about what you're doing on the platform. Certainly, thank you very much
Good to
for
see you.
coming out and joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
All right, so we talked earlier about BlackBerry 10 native and the Cascades UI framework, but it's important to remember that native C and C++ development is fully supported today on Playbook with a native SDK for Playbook 2.0, which has been available since last year. And we've seen tremendous uptake in at least one key segment, which is gaming. We have seen an explosion of content in the mobile gaming space. With the native C++ SDK for Playbook and the power and performance of the QNX OS, we are enabling developers to push the boundaries and really delight your customers. With Playbook 2.0 and BlackBerry 10, we now have a platform that delivers console-quality games on a mobile device. And we have all the tools and APIs in place to make sure that you as developers have full access to the platform. So we saw earlier what the power of social can do for your apps. And we will be bringing the power of the BBM social platform to BlackBerry 10 to open up a whole new world of high-performance social gaming. We have also just released a new SDK for social gaming based on the world-leading ScoreLoop social gaming platform. So this is the ScoreLoop SDK, a company we acquired last year from Munich, Germany. So now you can deeply integrate leaderboards and achievements and play games against your friends, driving viral discovery and distribution of your apps. So what I'd like to do now is to welcome Alex from Marmalade to show off a few of the amazing titles that they've brought to the platform. Hey, Alex.
Hi, Chris. Good
How
to
you
be
doing?
here. Thanks a lot.
Good to see you.
Yeah,
So
good to see
tell us a little bit about Marmalade.
Well, Marmalade is the leading native cross-platform SDK, and it's used by a lot of game developers, some system integrators, and so forth. And at the heart of it is an architecture that enables you to, as a developer, to take a single or manage a single application binary across all the leading OSs. So iOS, Android, and now Playbook OS are all supported platforms, and it's a really neat way to manage your code and make sure that your
And this is
pipeline
a
works
vibrant
well.
ecosystem. How many developers do you have?
We've
on
got
the platform?
around about just over 60,000 developers are using it,
amazing.
but amongst them, really the kind of the best of the best of the publishers.
Yeah, I think you'll see some incredible titles here. Yeah. So tell us what you've been doing on Playbook.
Well, we had a really good experience. We worked with the team at RIM, the QNX team. We were the first native SDK to support the Playbook OS, and we've delivered I think north of 50 applications now through that process. Right. So we're making it very clear to our developers this is a platform that they ought to support. And as a result of the integration work, we're kind of making that really easy for them to do so.
And I think as we heard from Alec, mentioning that some of these Playbook game titles are actually among the top grossing apps that we sell on AppWorld, period. Yeah. That's across BlackBerry and Playbook. So I know some of those titles are coming from Marmalade.
And the fact is, developers now just need to think about building in a cross-platform way. And the smart ones are doing that and getting ready to support new platforms as they come out. And the ecosystem built around Playbook OS and AppWorld is a really good, well-managed one. So it's a great place to get your apps to consumers.
And how have you found working on the platform in terms of the performance and the development process and the tools?
Yeah, well, very good. I mean, we've known about QNX for a while. We kept our eye on it. It's a very well-known OS amongst those of us who are kind of interested in that subject area.
Sure.
The integration went really well. The team are passionate about their OS, and I think that's probably come out through the presentation today. And it really matters if you're doing an integration work. So, our objective for developers is to make the transition of pretty complex code bases as easy as possible.
Right.
We've managed to do that by working with the team.
It's amazing. Well, let's take a look at some of these apps.
Well, I'd like to show you just a few of the apps that are written that have been done on Marmalade. The first is called Backbreaker 2, in fact. It's done tremendously well on all major app stores. It's now doing really well on AppWorld. It was built in Marmalade, came across pretty easily. Gives you an indication of the kind of level of graphic performance you can get. What's cool about this is we've also got a large ecosystem of middleware and Natural Motion who are behind this game, who've got an animation engine called Morpheme. They ported that on top of Marmalade. It now runs seamlessly across Playbook OS. And they're using that technology in order to bring the game to bear.
So for an app developer who's built on Marmalade, what would be involved in bringing their app to Playbook?
Well, you can get to alpha very quickly. It's click, deploy, and you get your application running. Then you want to fine tune what you've built to really take the best out of the platform. And really, your effort is involved in that. It's not involved in porting. There's really no porting involved. You're running exactly the same binary on iOS and Android as you're running on Playbook.
Awesome. So we're talking about days to weeks here in terms of getting
we had one app which we may show at a session later, which literally took 24 hours from let's do it to submission onto AppWorld via Marmalade. And that's the kind of flexibility you need. And particularly now, as you're seeing, a lot of applications and games require simultaneous updates across multiple platforms. And doing that introduces a really huge level of complexity to developers, and you need to have a framework to make this run easily.
Very cool. So a couple more you want to show off?
Sure. This is a nice indie game called Grave Defense by the Art of Bytes out of
this
Limburg.
is a popular one.
It's done really well on AppWorld. It's kind of interesting example. It's done really well on AppWorld, although it's got lost in some of the other app stores out there. And it's a good example of why, as a developer, you need to grab the opportunity of working on a new platform with both hands and get your applications out there, because there are great opportunities around that. And it's, as I say, I think it's in the top 5 of the strategy games.
Yeah.
And very popular. And I'll show you the next title, which is a very well recognized one, Cut the Rope, from Zepto Lab, based out of Moscow.
So this is one actually that we actually have score loop integration.
Yeah, it's got score loop integration. We've done
score server.
A phase 1 integration, which is available now, and we're doing a deeper integration going forward, really to kind of take full advantage of all the benefits of that. And what's interesting about this game is that, although on the surface quite simple, it's actually at the heart of it is a really complex physics engine to control the ropes. Zepto Lab are perfectionists about making sure that performs right, so they're really worried about making sure they got the right experience. We managed to do this seamlessly. It's doing incredibly well on AppWorld right now.
Excellent.
I think it's one of the leading titles.
In my house, it's definitely one of the leading titles. The kids love it.
It's great, sort of physics puzzle game. But anyway, that's an example of some of the titles we've got. There's a whole raft more coming across, and we're working with some of the leading publishers to make sure their titles come across.
No, this is amazing. Really happy to have you guys committed to the platform, and we're seeing some great apps from you.
Okay,
so thank you very much.
Thanks very much indeed.
Take care.
Okay, thanks.
So I'm really glad that we were able to provide a closer look at both BlackBerry 10 and the future of our technology, as well as some amazing apps. Thanks to these partners for coming up and showing off what they're doing on the platform with BlackBerry 7 and Playbook. And this is just the beginning. I mean, this is going to be a great 2 days for you as developers to connect. I want to make sure you get into the Ask the Experts area. We have more than 50 RIM experts, engineers, evangelists here on staff, and you can come in and ask your questions, and make sure you do that. The other reality is we're talking about 2,000 attendees, so it's a huge networking opportunity. So I encourage you to get out there, meet your fellow developers, find out what they're doing, what's working for them, how they're making money, how they're reaching their audience, what new features are they excited about, and really connect. So next up, we have lunch on the ground floor and first floor foyers, which I think are just outside here, followed by a great afternoon of breakout sessions and hands-on labs. Remember to join us tonight for a great time at the DevCon party starting at 6:30 in the Europe foyer on the ground floor. And we've got a variety of games, karaoke, and the results from the App Circus Spotlight on BlackBerry Challenge. That's all tonight at the party. And finally, a big thank you to our sponsors. Be sure to stop by App Zone on the ground floor and check them all out. Thank you, and have a great conference.